Hey everybody, it's Jeff, Aromatics, sitting out here on a pretty cold, snowy day, but not as bad as it's going to be. It looks like there's a storm a-brewing, and I really wanted to get this video done before it really starts piling on, and who knows how windy it's going to be. And because I'm pretty excited about this particular video. Now what it is if you remember, if you watched my last video, if you're into this series, I was smoking and taste testing some Connecticut broadleaf 2LS. Now that particular leaf was one of the spiciest, a little bit sour, almost unsmokable leaf. Probably one of the strongest leaves that I have, especially when it comes to a wrapper. And it made me think, with this leaf, like, what would you do with it? What would happen if you took it and used it as a wrapper or binder on some tobacco that was very mild and maybe sweet? How would it turn out? So what I did is I came up with two different filler blends. One of them was Pennsylvania broadleaf Seco, which is a very mild, earthy, semi-sweet type of tobacco. And the other one was what I'll be smoking today, and that is Dominican criollo viso. Now Dominican criollo viso is fairly sweet, typical Dominican type tobacco with kind of cooking spices, and just a little bit of strength. Now, before I continue, I did smoke the Pennsylvania broadleaf cigar yesterday. I was just too curious to wait to do a video on it, but I will tell you what happened, and it was quite interesting. Now, when I smoked it, I actually found it quite smokable. I was surprised. There wasn't it wasn't overpowering. There was a little bit of spice tingle there, but the tobaccos really evened themselves out. Now, it was very one-dimensional, because just straight Pennsylvania broadleaf Seco is pretty one-dimensional. You really have to blend it with other stuff to make it interesting. But what I did find that was pretty cool is, have you ever heard of people finding citrus in a cigar? Well, this is kind of how it happens, I guess. Is pretty interesting. So what you have is, when you're mixing those earthy, semi-sweet tobaccos from Pennsylvania, which sometimes actually I do get some citrus, especially off the stronger, like Ligero and Viso parts of the leaf. But when you mix a spicy and semi-sour leaf, such as the 2LS, with that earthy, it kind of gives you that spicy sour mixes with the earth to kind of give you a citrus taste. So I found that very interesting, and it got the gears turning. Now that cigar, like I said, was pretty one-dimensional, but I ended up enjoying it. It wasn't super strong, that spicy, so it got me kind of curious as to what this one is going to taste like with the criollo. So let's get it lit up, if I can, with this wind. We will see how it turns out. So it opens up a lot of doors, because I've never really tested. A lot of times I base my blends off the filler, and the wrapper is kind of an afterthought, whereas I know a lot of other blenders go by the wrapper, and they try to match fillers to complement the wrapper. And I've been looking to try to make some blends that are low in nicotine but have a little bit of spice kick and some strength. And this might be just the way that I can do it, using a lot of the majority of the filler, low nicotine, low priming tobacco to keep the nicotine down, but a good strong wrapper that can keep the flavor, to keep the strength up there, to keep it interesting. Okay. Let me smoke this down a little bit, and I'll be back and give you my thoughts. Okay, we're back, and I've got a good feel for this. Right off the bat, I'm not as impressed with this blend as I was with the Pennsylvania broadleaf. The criollo obviously isn't quite as flavorful as the Pennsylvania, believe it or not full enough flavored. The flavors I am getting are the basic kind of cooking spice, like nutmeg, a little bit of coffee. Oh, getting some. The storm's coming. It's coffee, nutmeg, and a little bit of a toasty type of flavor. Surprisingly, there is practically zero spice or tingle on my tongue. I'm finding that very surprising, considering this wrapper is so strong. And they say that a lot of the flavor comes from the wrapper. We'll discuss that in another video on how much I believe comes from the wrapper and how much comes from the filler, what percentages, things like that. But what this mix with those cooking spices as well as the light coffee and toast, what you're actually getting is an odd soapy taste. So the sour mixed with the cooking spice and coffee is giving this, like I said, kind of a soapy, odd taste. I'm not really enjoying it. So this is a no-go, but definitely the Pennsylvania broadleaf gave me some hope. So what I'm going to do is try some other lighter types of tobacco. I'm thinking now I should go the Nicaraguan route. So what I might do is use some Jalapa, Nicaragua, maybe some Viso and Seco, try that out. Now if you guys are really, really interested, I can do each of my steps on a video, or I can just do a bunch of them and then give you a summary later when I feel that I've done enough trial and error. You guys let me know what you're interested in. I'm not going to waste your time if you're not interested. Either way, it doesn't matter to me, because I will eventually document it, whether it's in a summary or whether it's cigar by cigar. But this one is a no-go, and for the experiment wise, there's what you get. Like, you can actually have a super spicy unsmokable wrapper, put it on a light tobacco and not get it much spice at all. So that's very interesting. All right, so I guess we'll leave it at that, and I'm gonna get inside and out of this storm. You guys take care. Till the next video, Aromatics signing out.